Okay, friends, here we are. We're in the garden tonight. It's evening. And I'm sure my neighbors think I'm absolutely crazy for sitting out here in a lawn chair talking to my camera. But I thought it would be fun to be out in the garden, and it's also the quietest place. JK is putting the boys down to bed, and so I thought I'd steal a couple of moments to be with you guys, because it has been a short while. It's been longer than I've wanted to, but we're in the throes of full summer here, and so that means that we've been busy. There's just so much to do, and of course, if you have two little boys, that means there's even more to do. So we've been having a good time. When I left off, I was going to go to, I went to North Carolina to do wedding flowers for my cousin. My cousin's wedding, which was in the mountains of North Carolina. And that was so much fun. I've never spent any time in the mountains of North Carolina, but always just driven through to get to the coast. So it was actually fun to spend some time and to see all the vineyards that are there. There's a lot of wine vineyards and wineries, and the wedding was in a winery, so we spent, and where we did the flowers was at a winery, so we spent a lot of time on a winery, which was fun. But I promised you guys a podcast postcard from there, and I couldn't make that happen. That was we were working so hard and so fast and so furious that there was no time. I did get a couple of videos taken, so I thought I would insert that into here just so that you guys can see some different kinds of creativity happening. We had the flowers. The flowers were shipped in boxes on ice, and my mom chose flowers from the States. She wanted to use flowers from small flower farms here in the U.S., which was wonderful in so many respects, and also difficult in one respect. One of the farms had to change the order at the last minute, so we didn't get quite as many peach roses as we had requested or ordered, but that happens, and so you just go with the flow and make things up as you go. So once the flowers come in boxes, you take them all out, and you dethorn the roses, you give them a fresh cut, and then you put them into water with floral food, and then you leave them sit for a good 12 to 24 hours to rest and from their journey, and to just soak up as much water as they can before you work with them. So then it was 2 full days of just hands-on working with the flowers and making the big arrangements and the bouquets and the corsages and the boutonnieres. And it was really fun this time. We divvied up the tasks into 2 different teams. My mom and I did the big arrangements and the tabletop arrangements, and then my older sister and my younger sister did all the boutonnieres and corsages and the bouquets. So, and we worked really well in those teams. It was a very good division of labor and a lot of fun. So, of course, I brought more knitting with me than I actually got accomplished, which always happens when you go away, but especially this trip, because we were working so hard. We'd get up at 6 o'clock, at least I did, 6:30 in the morning, just to get ready, get breakfast, and then get out the door to start the day. One funny thing that happened while we were away at this wedding was the winery where we were doing the flowers. They said that the conference room where we were doing the flowers would be opened for us in the morning, but it wasn't. This is the morning of the wedding, and we still had a lot left to do. And we had already spent some of the morning trying to track down some extra peach roses and to kind of supplement for the roses that we weren't sent from the farm. And so we were already running later than what we wanted to. Our aunt was coming to pick up corsages and boutonnieres that she was going to take back to her family at the hotel, and we didn't have them done yet, and we were locked out of the room. And what do when you've got a wedding, a show that must go on, right? You improvise. So we started looking at the windows of the room and sure enough, like the third window we tried was unlocked. So we opened it and took out the screen, and I climbed through and unlocked the door for everybody. So thankfully, you know, we told the owner afterwards that we had to break and enter in order to get in, and he was fine with it. So, but it was funny. I was joking. He said, well, you guys, if I get hauled off to jail tonight and miss the wedding, it was for a good cause. So it was pretty funny. But I thought it would be fun to insert a couple of videos that I took while we were out in North Carolina with the wedding, so that you guys can just see what we did a little bit. I didn't take enough, so but anyways, I hope you like what we had. So I will see you in a few minutes after we return in time to North Carolina. Okay friends, here I am. We're in the back of a vineyard doing the flowers. We've got all the flowers here. There's my mom. And there's Aunt Deb. And then over here, Emily is standing up. Wave Em. And then Heather is bending down, trying to find just the right flowers for the bridesmaids. So, Mom and I are working on table arrangements for the table. And let me show you the view. The view is absolutely amazing. Okay, Mom, so what did you say?
Said, we're not going to do this without you guys. I can't do this without you guys.
Because we just realized we needed some more flowers, right?
Yes.
The biggest deal was the farm didn't send us the peach roses that we really needed, and we realized we needed more greens, and so Heather just spent the last 10 minutes on the phone with a florist in town looking for some more greens and some more peach roses. So, but things are coming along and looking really, really good. We've got bouquets coming along here, which are so pretty. And then we have table arrangements coming along. Move you guys so slowly over here. So it will be so pretty. Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Well, while we were busy in North Carolina, I just got buzzed by a hummingbird. So hopefully I won't get bombed by a hummingbird, but a hummingbird just flew by my ear. That was kind of fun. So what have I been up to during these busy days of summer? Well, I've been drinking this yummy, yummy tea. My mom found it. It's created here in Indianapolis. There's a British woman up north of where I live. She just opened a tea and lunch place. And I think it's called Tina's Old-Fashioned English Kitchen, I think. I'll try to provide a link if there is one. I haven't even checked to see if there's a link. But she has been blending her own teas. This blend that my mom picked up for me is 1776 blended, so that's a blend of Ceylon tea and Assam tea with strawberry and maple. Oh, it's perfect. You want to see? Can you see it? Isn't it beautiful? She has flowers in it too, which makes it so, so beautiful. I don't know if she does mail order, but you could always ask. You could call and ask. It is definitely worth getting. It is just such a refreshing summer tea to have. I should do a nice slurp for you guys so you can see how yummy it is. I won't. But so I've been enjoying that. That's been the perfect afternoon tea to have for summer. And then I have been spinning. For some reason, spinning is extremely relaxing to do in the evening. So I have been doing that. I've been working on this huge, beautiful bat by Joanna Spring of Knit Spin Farm, and I have most of it on the wheel right now. And I've mentioned this one before, but I'm finally getting to work on it, which I'm so excited. It's Afternoon Thunderstorm, and you can find Joanna Spring on Etsy, and she makes the most gorgeous bats and also project bags. So I'm working on that. I did finish, however, some Spun Right Round, and I believe this is Falkland, which I love spinning Falkland. Do any of you like spinning Falkland? Am I the only one? I just adore it. It has so much spring and bounce to it. Here, isn't it gorgeous? Won't that be absolutely gorgeous for one of the boys? I'm thinking a hat or something, or even a vest for Arthur. But you can see this is Spun Right Round, and she is on Etsy as well. And unfortunately today she had another Falkland update, and I am so tempted. Her colors are so bright that the update, and I'm so tempted to head over there because Falkland is so nice. This is 4 ounces, and I spun it up in a worsted weight, so it's nice and thick and bouncy and would be perfect for a hat. And yes, like I said, it's 4 ounces, so it's a 2-ply. So that was fun. So that's the spinning that has been on my wheel. I am really gearing up for July. I keep on thinking because the Tour de Fleece is coming, and for some odd reason I just love the Tour de Fleece. I never really participate in any of the groups, like I've said before, but it's just fun and exciting. So I always look forward to it. But I think I'm going to try to work through my spinning stash. I don't have much, but it would be nice to clear it out a little bit more. And the other thing that I've been thinking of, I can't get out of my mind that spindle wheel that I'll provide a link in the show notes in Ravelry. I can't get out of my mind that spindle wheel. It just seems like so much fun to spin with, and you can create more of a not a worsted. What's the other one? Wait, it's late. I should never podcast late. Woolen. Creates more of a woolen spun yarn, and I sent the plans to my dad to say, hey Dad, can we do this project together? Because I'm really eager to build it. So we'll see if I can build it this summer. I'm determined. I'm going to. But anyways, I don't know if any of you participate in the Tour de Fleece, but it would be fun to know if you guys like to look forward to it. As for finished projects, well, this is the sad thing about summertime. There's a lot of knitting behind the scenes that takes place that I can't show you. So I hate that part about the summertime, but it is a necessary part. There'll be some fun things to look forward to coming fall. So I can tell you that I finished the collaboration piece that I was doing with Gina over at Brownie Knits. We're doing a set, and we're collaborating on it together. So I finished my piece, and now we're into the test knitting and editing phase, so that's kind of fun. And then I did finish a shawl, which I'm going to probably release in the fall, so that's now into the test knitting and editing phase. I'm also looking for, I'm looking for a good yarn base to do it in. I did the rough draft, but I need a good sock yarn, fingering weight yarn to finalize this shawl in. So if you guys have any favorite Etsy dyers that you really like, leave a note in the Ravelry thread and of this podcast. It would be fun to see what you guys really like working with, and maybe I'll do the final version in one of those, so you guys could be part of the process. But I've done simple things. I did finish the turtle pearl socks, and these are the plain vanilla socks. Aren't they pretty? They're so pretty. The color is so vibrant out here. It's so nice. So I finished that. This one's blocked and this one isn't blocked, so I need to block it. I did Afterthought heels, which was nice, and just top down plain vanilla. I think I'm doing 58 stitches around on 2.25 millimeter needles, and I've been using my Carbons double points. I really like double points. I'm a double point person. What are you? It'd be fun to know. It would be fun to know what everybody is. Leave a comment in the thread. It would be fun. Take a poll. Who's a DPN and who's a 2 circulars and who's a magic loop? So isn't it fun how we all have our different sock styles? Okay, I will say this. I have been dreaming of making this sock notebook. And it will have a bunch of different heels and a bunch of different toes in it. And it's going to be one of those books where the top and bottom half are cut so that you can flip. So say, okay, I want to try this heel. I'll flip to that page, but I want to do this toe. So you flip to that page. So then you can have both of them there lined up together. Does that make any sense? I'll show you. I'm going to get a notebook and I'm going to write out the different socks and heels, and socks, toes and heels, and I'll show you what I mean. But I've never seen a book like that, and I would like to make one for my own personal use to keep in my sock knitting bag. Because I like to make plain vanilla socks because I need some quiet, boring knitting sometimes, but it's fun to change up the toes and heels. For some odd reason, that makes it juicy enough for me to enjoy, if that makes sense. So now to use up the ends of my turtle pearl yarn, because I can't let any of this just go, I'm making little anklets. Isn't that fun? I've never made anklets before. But I just cast on the same number that I cast on to make a regular sock, and I did a little bit of ribbing, and then I did my garter stitch heel, my short row heel that I just love. I'm sure there's a pattern out there, but I just do it from how I do it, and then off I go. I might have to find some corresponding toe yarn, because I don't think I'm going to have enough. But I might. We'll see. But I'm having fun. So that's good. That's kind of my outdoor knitting for when the boys are busy in the sandbox and things like that. Finished things. I did make myself a huge American flag project bag. Isn't it great? I think the Knitting Den had made a beautiful British flag knitting bag, and of course I wanted that one. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, it'd be fun to make an American one. So I just used what I had. Of course, I have lots of painter's drop cloth around the house, and I had some bandanas to line it with. I had some, I put the nice felt backing in it, so it's nice and sturdy and stands up. And then I had some red corduroy and some blue kind of like canvas. And then I had a ton of white buttons. Now I put more white buttons on there than I wanted to. I just started sewing them on, and I just kept on fitting more and more on and not spacing them out enough. So I've got a lot of buttons, but it's a lot of fun. So in there I have a nice linen project, which I will show you guys a little later. It's not ready to be seen yet, but I'm using the Knit Picks Lindy chain. And I showed that to you guys before too. And I really like working with it. For some odd reason, this is really strange, guys, but I really like working with linen. I always have. Aren't I crazy? I'm crazy. Most people hate it. Okay, another sip, okay? It's been a long day, so I'm allowed a couple of sips of tea, okay? Then the other thing that I have been working on that I can show you is, I'm excited about this. You know how I said I was going to cast on a campside? I really liked the idea of a big, warm, squishy shawl. Well, then I cast it on. I did cast it on. Then I took it out. And I will make it, but I need to find just the right yarn. I found a pattern by Annie Claire, Tales from the Isle of Purbeck. Do any of you guys follow Benjamin Hole on Instagram? He was one of the first people I started following when I started my Instagram account, and his pictures of sheep and grazing and even rowing. I used to be a rower, and I'd row over here on Eagle Creek every evening, and just the pictures of rowing on the water and sigh. Well, you guys, you'll have to go check it out. If you don't know what I mean, go check it out on Instagram. His pictures are to die for. Well, he raises sheep, and guess what he did? He turned some of their wool into yarn, which is impossible to get. I have no hope of ever scoring some of his yarn. I would love to just score 2 balls though, so I can make a hat. But in lieu of ever having the possibility of scoring some of his yarn, which, by the way, you guys, I have written down his next update on my calendar. It's a Sunday, and I think it will be in the morning for us. I might try. Is that bad? I might try to get just 2 skeins. Anyways, in lieu of ever having the hope of getting some of his yarn, I decided to do this shawl, and it was a mystery knit-along. The knit-along has now ended, but you can get the pattern. So I have really been enjoying knitting it, and I'm using that imperial stock yarn that is from sheep here in the U.S., and it's created in the U.S. by the Imperial Stock Ranch, and I'll have a link to their website. But here it is. It's getting to be gigantic, but I'm having so much fun knitting it. It's very easy and big and squishy, and it's going to be this gigantic shawl, which I can't wait. Just plain lace, very easy. I think it has a little ribbing at the bottom. So it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Now, because of that, because I've been knitting and following this Benjamin Hole, Curious Handmade, and I just finished her Pebble Beach shawl, and I showed that one, I think last time or 2 times ago. She just came out with the Whispering Isle shawl, which uses his yarn, and she interviewed him on her podcast, her most recent podcast, and I just loved it. Oh my goodness. Okay, that made me want his yarn even more. It's terrible. But one of the things that I loved about this shawl was she loves Enid Blyton, the Famous Five, and we love the Famous Five books here in this household. They're just the perfect childhood books, especially for boys, about adventuring and mystery and just having a lot of fun. So we've been reading them to John. I read some of them when I was little, and now I've been getting them for John, and we've been reading to him those books, and he's been really enjoying it. So the Enid Blyton came from and wrote from that same area in England where Benjamin Hole lives with all of his sheep. So she named, and Curious Handmade loves Helen Stewart. She loves Enid Blyton books too, and she talks about in the her podcast about the connection to the name. That area is called Whispering Isle. So I forget if the reference was in one of the Enid Blyton books or just in the folklore about that area. But anyways, the two are connected and intertwined. So the next thing to go on my needles is the Whispering Isle shawl by Helen Stewart, which I can't wait to knit. So I just have to find just the right yarn. I want to use some hand spun, but I don't know if I have the right amount. So, and I don't have time to spin it up. So I will find something though. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, I should go. I'm sorry, this is a very, very quick podcast. I promise more later. there is more to tell you and more excitement and adventures that we've had. So I shall look forward to talking to you guys again. In the meantime, you can find me as Christina Wall on Ravelry and A Knitter's Life on Instagram, and you can find our Ravelry group under A Knitter's Life on Ravelry. And make sure you hop on over there and join the conversation, because that's a fun place to hang out. So until next time, happy knitting. Okay guys, you couldn't get rid of me that fast, sorry. I forgot to mention that the wonderful giveaway by Anne, who designed the Fleece cardigan that I've been knitting on, which I haven't showed you recently because I need to make more progress in it. But the wonderful Fleece, a ladies cardigan, which is a Norwegian design by the lovely Anne, who is a new Norwegian designer. I've been knitting on that. She generously offered to do a giveaway in our group, which is so nice. So I opened up a thread just specifically for that, and many of you commented in that thread, and the question that I asked you guys was, what colors would you choose if you were going to knit this sweater? And oh my goodness, now I want to make at least 3 of these cardigans, because the color combinations that you guys came up with sounded so beautiful. And right now Knit Picks is having a sale on yarn, a summer yarn sale, and they have this new alpaca yarn, alpaca lace. It would be you'd have to double it, but have you seen the colors? They're so pretty. But anyways, okay, that aside, I'm getting off track. I wanted to tell you guys who won. So Anne has already kindly sent the 3 winners their patterns, so they should be waiting in their Ravelry box for them. She sent them and said that she was off to Shetland for a summer holiday. Wouldn't that be lovely? I said, I'm so envious of you going off to Shetland for a summer holiday. Just sounds lovely. But anyways, so the 3 wonderful people who have won this was chosen by the random number generator. I did it this past week and wrote it down and then contacted Anne. It's number 11, Catherine Kirby, and she said she would knit the sweater in blues and grays, I think. I used to love bright colors, but am changing to neutrals. Neutrals are so pretty, I have ignored them most of my life. And I thought that was so sweet. It's so true. We knit in different seasons. We knit with different colors in different seasons of our life, don't we? It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to hear someone else say that too. Then number 5, Nutmeg Knits. And she said, I love this pattern, especially since that it is knit from the top down. I feel like that makes it more easily customizable, which is so true. I think I'd use a lot of pinks and orange and maybe a cream body. That sounded heavenly too. So now I want to do one in neutrals, and now I want to do one in cream and pink and orange. And then number 18, Tokyo City Girl. Jacqueline, she said, I love this pattern, and since I am into neutrals, I would knit it in grays and black and cream. Doesn't that sound really nice? So now I want to at least make a neutral one, and I want to make a pink and orange and cream one. But also a blue one would be nice, and also a purple one would be nice. So I don't know. There's so many wonderful ideas. So anyways, many thanks to Anne for contacting me and offering this giveaway to all of you wonderful people. It was so nice of her to do that, and just such a nice way to support the podcast. So a very big thank you to Anne, and I will provide a link. You guys can check out her other patterns, and it's just a nice way to support designers, and just to say thank you for offering up this giveaway. You could go and see her patterns and support her in her little Ravelry shop. So anyways, okay, now I think I am finally done. So I'll see you guys over in the Ravelry group. Happy knitting!